Hello and welcome to WNBA Courtside. It's me, Cyrus. I'm here joined by the intrepid team of explorers in the WNBA. We've got Nthabiseng, we've got Lethabo, we've got Kaunda. How are you all?
Living.
I'm almost good, you know.
You can tell who the Lakers fan is here. We've got a great show this week. It's another. In fact, the WNBA seems to deliver week after week, day after day. There's just great action. Nthabiseng, have you enjoyed a good week in the WNBA?
I love watching the WNBA, and every time I watch every game, I'm like, I don't understand why people dog WNBA because these women can play. And really, shout out to all these women that are mothers that come back, that bounce back. Their bounce back game is real. So shout out to them, and the performances are great. There's never a dull moment in the WNBA, and I'm just enjoying it.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. I know, Lethabo, your love for the WNBA is almost unparalleled in some cases. Have you had a good week with the WNBA this week?
Yeah, it's been a little difficult with the NBA action coming back in the realm. So, my sleep schedule has been out of whack. There's so many basketball games I've watched over the past couple of days. I feel numb. Give it to me. Give it all to me. This is what I'm talking about. We've been without basketball for how long now? 4 months. So rather overload than underload.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And Kaunda, we always talk all things basketball. So WNBA is definitely one of your highlights. And how have you seen the week progressing?
Cyrus. I hate to bring this up, but last week's show,
yes,
we spoke about these teams from Washington, the Mystics. Yes.
No one said you need to start throwing punches, right?
I'm Rocky Balboa. I come in. I'm Rocky Balboa. I come in.
So, Kaunda, you know what you must do? Drop a pin in the chat, and in 10 minutes, I'll be at your door. Then we can have a real conversation.
Sure. The levels, it's rising. Okay, let's take a step back.
Let's just do what we do. Let it do what it do. Because there was a lot of smack being spoken in last week's episode about these guys, these girls from Washington, and then my sparks were being laughed at the time. So during the same week, I have seen these Washington women get beaten by my LA Sparks and my Las Vegas Aces. Thank you very much.
So you're pretty much happy that you're beating a team that's hobbled.
No, I was having a good week.
Because if you'd watched the game, you'd have seen that they look exhausted, and they are exhausted. They have an 8-man rotation. What do you want them to do?
We're going to end up in a fight just for the whole weekend. No, we're not doing it. Kaunda, go now while you can. Okay, so look, I absolutely love it. It's like it's a free-for-all. It's like UFC. But the one topic that we want to talk about this week really is, in fact, we're talking right now about the teams who are almost the also-rans, because when you look at the WNBA at the moment, there is one team that is standing head and shoulders above everybody. I think we can all see who those people are. Right at number one spot is the Seattle Storm, and they have been incredible. At the moment, they are about 2.5 games ahead of the Las Vegas Aces and 3 games ahead of the Sparks and the Lynx, as well as the Sky. So, they are doing a superb job. And I think let's start with you, Kaunda. I don't want to talk because I don't want to start talking because I'm a Seattle Storm fan, but
we know you.
Do you see anybody else matching them? I think the most recent victory was ridiculous. Winning, scoring 100 and odd points is always an incredible achievement. But when you do that in a game that it's the New York Liberty. We don't necessarily want to be saying, but 105 points.
New York Liberty. About 105 points, yes, but they were playing the New York Liberty, who are still relatively a young team. It's kind of like at the moment, the Los Angeles Lakers playing the Golden State Warriors. Let's not go there because I know how you feel about that. But look, you've got a great chemistry working at the Seattle Storm at the moment. You've got Natasha Howard, a great two-way player. Defensively, she is right up at the top there. I mean, hasn't she even won Defensive Player of the Year?
Yeah, I think that's the case.
So you got Natasha Howard, you got Brianna Stewart, MVP material over there all the way. Then you've got the young Jewel Lloyd. Oh my word.
Yeah.
This young lady can ball. So, you know, when you've got that and then you've got the veteran experience of a Sue Bird coming in there, then did I even mention Jordan Canada? I mean, look, I know this is your favorite team, Cyrus, and it's like I am actually. You knew I'd be your hype man. You knew I'd be your hype man because
shouldn't this be everybody's favorite team?
Lord, moving right along.
Look, Nthabiseng, am I wrong? I mean, you were in Seattle recently. You know, I can imagine there's no Supersonics. The whole city must be behind the storm there. What are you seeing about this team? Because I think that they've got pretty much every position locked in terms of what they need in that roster.
When we initially started the show, I was always behind Seattle. As much as I'm not like a Seattle Storm fan, if you may, but I respect their hustle. I respect their game. They have like the longest winning streak in franchise history. And again, I will repeat, they are the most winningest team in Seattle. They will continue. We will continue to see the performance that that we saw yesterday with the Liberty. But Stewie, look, you know that $30,000 that she spent to heal her Achilles is really coming to play right now.
Money well spent.
She did it in 2018. She looks phenomenal. And to your point, Cyrus, Sue Bird is coming through really hard, and I saw them warming up for the game, and I was like, okay, she's getting into the zone. No matter if she's playing the Liberty or she's playing the Sparks, she's just in that game. And again, we don't know if this is gonna be last season, so let's see her work.
Yeah, I'm a massive fan of that team. Lethabo, we're not necessarily just leaving you because we think you're going to have an opposing view here. But I think the thing is, when we look at the Storm, do you think that they're currently the best constructed team in the WNBA?
I mean, I've always believed that. I feel like I said that in the first podcast. I may be wrong, but I've always believed that. I think in terms all hands on deck, I mean, they have the offense, they have the defense. If you even look at statistically, they lead almost every category: offensive rebound, offensive rating, defensive rating, points per game, assists per game. Name a statistical category, they probably lead it. And Brianna's almost similar to Giannis in the sense that she also at this point, almost in every statistical category, you'll see her name in the top 10. So there was never any doubt in my mind. The only thing I said was that particular game we were talking about, that they were going to lose to the Washington Mystics because the Washington Mystics had offense. And I was right, was I not? So yeah, I have nothing bad to say about Seattle. I've been a fan of Seattle.
So then let's ask the question. We've given all of the, I mean, if we just look at the stats again, they're ludicrous. As you mentioned, Lee, you know, we've got Seattle leading in points per game. They're third in rebounds per game. Number one in assists per game. Number 3 in blocks per game. Number 1 in steals per game. So offensively and defensively, they're really just ripping up the stats sheets. Now, what team in the rest of the pack can actually provide them with some sort of competition? Lethabo, who do you think is their real sort of challenger for the crown? We're not even really, you know, at the point where we reach halfway through the season yet, but, you know, they're looking like they might be running away with this thing. So, Lee, who do you think is the opposition here? I think we lost Lee. No! I'm going to ask you, Nthabiseng.
Yeah. I mean, I was thinking about it and looking at the performance with the LA Sparks and the Las Vegas Aces. I think it's a close one between those two teams. I'm not writing off the Mystics yet, but they've been having poor performances for the past 7 games. I think it's 6 or 7 losses in a row. So I will give this one to, I don't want to, you know, say this because, you know, Kaunda, but I think the LA Sparks could possibly give them a good run for their money because they've got an all-round solid team. They have a good identity. Candace Parker's playing amazing basketball. and Miss Gray herself is doing amazing. So I think, for me, we have a Sparks that will probably give Seattle a good run for their money.
Okay.
Possibly the Aces.
No, I like that. I mean, so Nthabiseng said that she thinks the Sparks might be the best team to potentially chase down the Storm. Do you agree?
Have we lost Lethabo again?
It looks like she might be a little behind us.
I actually would. No, I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm here.
So, who is the best and
What
the biggest
happened?
competition to the Seattle Storm?
Can you
at the
hear me?
moment? Yeah, we can hear you. Kaunda, do you have an answer? Let's see if we
there's
can't
a bit of a lag on Lee's side.
Well, I think
Yeah.
I mean, I agree. It could be the Los Angeles Sparks, but I'm also liking what I'm seeing. Oof,
Yeah, continue.
I do not know what is going on. Oh, brother.
Technology.
Speaking of brother,
Can you hear me?
I'll just jump in there while Lee sorts out her connection. I think, look, I can't bet against the Sparks side. I think the Sparks have got a good chance now that they're coming into their own and getting that groove back. I think they're shaking off that off-season rust and, being who they are. But the Aces are also, they could be that dark horse that you always talk about, Sai, where they just sneak up on us when we least expect it, because we've been talking about this lack of Liz Cambage, lack of this person. Maybe they don't have that perimeter shooting, but look where they're sitting at now. As we always refer back to the fact that we've still got a lot of basketball to play, and with that in mind, and I know you asked me to choose one, but I wouldn't write off those Phoenix Mercury girls. They could sneak up on those top three any minute. Things could change once they get their groove. The Phoenix Mercury could be a surprise package.
Well, I think the thing is, I agree with you totally in terms of the Mercury being one of the teams that could actually do it. But I wonder about the Aces. I really think that they've got star wattage in Asia Wilson as well as in Angel McCoughtry, because I think those two leading the line could be the right kind of players to get them there. But you have to start looking at teams, like you say, the Sparks and the Mercury. And I think the Mercury are the kind of team who, when they finally gel, things will look good. And I think that's what we're sort of missing. So I'm not sure. I mean, Nthabiseng, just to sort of close out this discussion, and I hope we can get Lee back just now, but do you think that the Storm have to sort of also bide their time a little bit? Because, you look at somebody like Brianna Stewart, and she's had her injury issues. Maybe she needs to also just, maybe just relax a little bit. Or do you think that it's worthwhile her just going flat out?
I think her coach will use her well and rest her when she needs to rest her, because we can't forget that she's just fresh from an injury. So you don't want to tamper with that. So I feel like the coach is smart enough to let her rest. I mean, this game with the Liberty would probably be the best game for her to rest. But it's also a game to actually give Stewie the confidence, not that she needs it, but the confidence to have her play the way she is playing. Like I said at the beginning of the show, she's playing better than she did in 2018. In 2018, she was phenomenal.
Yeah,
and talking
MVP
about
season.
MVP season, and she is MVP caliber right now. Let's think about that, right? And we look at Angel herself. Angel is also fresh from injury, and she's playing like vintage Angel, right? And she's performing well. I think that the coaches, if they use their players well, use Stewie well, rest the Sue and Joel wherever they need to rest her, that'll be great. But when you mentioned the Mystics, I think you mentioned, right? Let's not forget that Sylvia Fowles is having issues with her cough. And when we look at the games that just happened this past weekend, without Sylvia, they were not performing as well as the Lynx. The Lynx can, And so I don't know. They need to find their identity outside of Sylvia Fowles.
No, I agree with you there. We have Lethabo back. Lethabo?
Ness in 3X.
But it's all good. We got you back. That's all important. So, who do you think can catch the Storm at the moment? So, I mentioned potentially the Vegas Aces. The other talk has been about the Sparks, and Kaunda even mentioned the Phoenix Mercury. Who do you think could be the Storm stoppers?
I agree with Los Angeles Sparks, but I'm actually interested in what's happening with Las Vegas right now. I think they're figuring out, well, at least with the games that I watched this past weekend, they're figuring out how to incorporate everyone into the offense, not named Aja Wilson, which is great. It's positive signs. I mean, I'm still, it's still worrying. The 3-point shots thing is still worrying to me because it's like, how are you still not shooting from the 3? But I mean, they're trying to rectify it. You can see that they're making an effort. I think it was the Phoenix Suns where even Angel McCoughtry was like the 5th most important player. Like it was like everybody else. It was Michaela Bride. It was Sugar Rogers. It was all these different players making a contribution, which put the pressure off actually from Aja and Angel. So I like what I'm seeing from them. And even on the defensive end, they've tightened up a bit. So I'm gonna go Las Vegas more than the Sparks.
Than LA. Okay, I like that. I really like that. And I think what's great is that moving on to our next sort of topic, you've got players who are also starting to step up. One of the things that Nthabiseng mentioned was talking about Sylvia Fowles at Minnesota and how important she's been to their current level of play. But you cannot forget somebody like Napheesa Collier. And she's the Eastern Conference, one of the players of the week this week. So, when you look at how important she is, she, I guess, is the face of that franchise. There's no Maya Moore. They're really missing some of the veterans that they've let go over the years. And so, you look at somebody like Napheesa and you think, okay, I mean, yes, the Lynx record was 2-1 in the past week, but she was averaging 18.3 points per game, 13 rebounds a game, and 3 assists a game. Nthabiseng, is this the stuff of potentially an MVP candidate?
You know what? I had her in my notes as one of my favorite players this week because she performed so well. So just straight up, yes. I'm not even going to comment more because you mentioned stats. She is definitely somebody that we should look out for. She was phenomenal this weekend, guys. Like she's doing good.
I'm a big fan of hers, and I think she's Rookie of the Year. Lethabo, do you agree that she's the kind of player that perhaps the Lynx need to build everything around going forward?
Yeah, I think it's about time the rebuild happens in Minnesota, and why not her lead the way? Because even 2 years ago we were saying that Minnesota is huffing and puffing right now. Their age is showing. So I think it's good that they're finally getting some young blood to take over and be able to take over in game situations, and have somebody other than Sylvia to rely on. So yeah. I don't know about MVP candidate though. I wouldn't exactly. There are a bunch of people I'd put behind above her for MVP, but definitely, yeah.
No, but I suppose, look, this is the other thing. Without her input, the Lynx would be even worse than they are, and they've actually been doing pretty well. But obviously, it's a two-hander in Minnesota. It's not just Napheesa Collier. You've got Sylvia Fowles there. Kaunda, what have you seen from Collier that's really stood out for you, apart from just the statistical stuff? Is there stuff about her game that seems to have made an impression?
Yes, I mean, first of all, Napheesa Collier is last season's Rookie of the Year, right?
Yeah.
So this is her second year, and one thing I always like is when I see a basketball player, circumvent that sophomore curse, if you will. There are a lot of players, even in the NBA, in the WNBA, they come out smoking. First year, you're like, wow, I'm a bet something on this player. Then the second year, you're like, what happened? But with Napheesa, I think she's building on the momentum from last season. And I know you can't be back-to-back Rookie of the Year, but maybe you can go for Most Improved Player or something. But I not yet at that MVP level yet, but Most Improved maybe. But I like the way that she's such a versatile player, and she can do a lot.
No, that she can.
Who's new to the league, and you get impressed when you see rookies or sophomores that somehow even become de facto leaders, if you will. Obviously, she can't lead in the presence of Sylvia Falls because gotta respect seniority there. But she looks like she could potentially be a leader in this situation. And you look at how she commands the game, how she sometimes even helps dictate the pace to a large extent.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. Yeah.
Why can't she be in the conversation for MVP candidate? Why can't
I was
she
about to say that
for most improved, right? We can have her in the conversation. I'm not saying that she will be, but she has to be included in the conversation. Let's put respect on her name.
Oh, I'm loving
just
that.
for me, there's far more people doing far more impressive stuff for me to actually put her in there.
Well,
let's look at. She's in a position that with the team that she has currently, like if we can have somebody like Arike in the conversation of MVP with her team being so low, why can we not have Nafisa in the conversation?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's not like she's carrying the team on her back though. There's Sylvia Falls and there's Crystal Dangerfield. It's not like it's a complete disaster. It's just that everybody's expectations were low. That's all. I don't know.
I love that. Those are fighting words.
There are way more people I'd put Alyssa Thomas above her, honestly, because at least she's putting up numbers despite the fact that Connecticut Suns are, a little bit wobbly. But that's a team that's in crisis. Minnesota's not in crisis. I think if she had like an injury now, I think they'd be able to win a couple of games. I mean, this is not to say that she's not important. She is, but I don't think they'd sink. I don't think they'd sink if she had to be out for a couple of games.
No, and I like that point. I think one of the things that I'd like to say is looking at the stats. We talked about how her Player of the Week stats, she's literally was averaging 18.3 points a game. If you look at her season stats, she's I'm trying to see here. She's 13th in the WNBA, averaging 14.9 points per game. But when you look at some of the other stuff, she's in the top 3 in terms of rebounds a game. So it's one of those where she's definitely got a role to play. And I agree with Nthabiseng. I think we should have her in the conversation. But another candidate is Duana Bonner, and she was the Eastern Conference Player of the Week. And her stats might not necessarily be as good, but what she's trying to do is pretty remarkable, because the Sun went 3-1 in that week. She averaged 15.5 points a game, 8 rebounds a game, and 2.3 steals a game. And that comparable. In fact, Collier's stats are a little bit better because she's averaging a double-double, points and rebounds in that week. Kaunda, Duana Bonner, what more can we say about her?
Cyrus, I've been a Duana Bonner fan since she was at the Mercury, so I can't say much bad about Duana. She plays so well, and she's. I call her a small big man because of her size,
Yeah.
But she plays so well. She's so fluid. I like her skill set, and she's also averaging almost a double-double here. You know what I mean? That's 8 points. That's 2 points shy of a double-double with 15.5. 8 rebounds.
8 rebounds, yeah.
15.5 points a game. That is no easy feat.
It's all those steals as well.
And then she's got the steals, the 2.3 steals per game. That accounts for a lot defensively, which means...
And let's not forget, both her and Alyssa carry a lot more weight than Nafisa. I'm just saying. Because obviously their entire offense relies on the two of them. Versus Minnesota has a couple of options. I'm just saying, I'd put there a couple of people out. I'm not saying she shouldn't, but there are way more people I'd put ahead. I'd put Candace Parker ahead of her, to be honest.
I'm beginning to think Lethabo and Nafisa are in the same class.
There's no doubt about that.
Nafisa and Lethabo.
We're in the same class. I hear you, but Nthabi's point is Candace Parker is definitely going to be in that conversation and has been in that conversation for years. We're also saying, why should the conversation exclude Collier? Right. But I think we're getting off the Duana Bonner train here. We got to talk about Duana Bonner and how good her week was. And I think that when you see just how much she's managed to achieve, and Nthabiseng, do you think that maybe, the Sun need to try and extract more from her, or is it that the rest of the team needs to try and emulate?
The team needs to emulate. The team needs to work a little harder, honestly. Lee has been she was riding with the Suns for a while. Then she switched to, I don't know where you're at, Lee, with the Suns and the Mystics. Because
I'm still not convinced now. I'm still not convinced. I've watched enough to see that they're still, and you're talking about getting more people involved. You can't ask Jasmine Thomas to come up with a jump shot she's never shot before. It's just not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Not this season. Like they lost a lot of their offensive power when Courtney Williams left, and they don't have John Kell Jones. Like they're literally just gonna have to do the best that they can at the moment, and then next season we're doing some roster mix up, because with this roster it's not gonna happen. I'm so sorry. Guys, I've seen enough.
I think if it just shows what people have been doing in the off season. If you look at Alicia Gray, she was preparing for the Olympic team. It's really showing. I know we'll talk about those games later, but how much work have you been putting in the off season coming into the wobble? So that's why I'm demanding more from the players. Let's see what you've been working on, so that you can remedy whatever else is needed from you. I like
that. I like that because you mentioned Stephanie Dolson. And I think that is a case in point. And she seems to finally be getting back to the level that we know that she should be at. And that's because of the consistent training and being, with the teammates and with the coaching staff. I'm going to let you have a last word here, Lethabo and Dwanabana, so that we can just finish off by looking at the games. Do you think, this is a well-deserved accolade for the Eastern Conference Player of the Week, and I think she deserves it.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think the fact that they're actually back to winning is a little bit surprising to me. I guess because now they're trying to figure out to get the other guys involved. But like I said, I still, at this point, like from what I've seen from Connecticut Suns, like you can't be asking people who don't have a 3-point shot all of a sudden to conjure up one. It's just not going to happen.
Some players are managing to do that, and you're seeing people develop those kind of skill sets, but I suppose it's also a learning curve. It doesn't just happen overnight, and I guess that's
what I'm saying is, like, let's not get carried away with what's going to happen with Connecticut Suns as a whole. I think they can just do the best that they can for this season, but we're not getting a finals appearance.
Okay.
Not with this team.
And I think we're all in agreement there. So let's go into the games to watch this weekend. Kaunda, let's start with you, and then we'll take it around everybody. You've got the Minnesota Lynx versus the Phoenix Mercury. That's happening early hours of Saturday morning, 4 o'clock in the morning Central African time on Saturday. Lynx Mercury, who do you have in that one?
Look, Nafisa did well this week. The Lynx have always been my second favorite team, because of my support from Miami. But in this one, I'm believing in the ladies from Arizona, man. I'm going Phoenix Mercury on this one, just because I believe they're on the come up. They're coming for that one of those top 3 slots.
I like that. Nthabiseng, Lynx Mercury, who's your pick?
It's a hard choice because I saw the Mercury play against the Wings, and the Wings, they were just excellent. And again, I'm going to keep saying this until I see it from Skylar Diggins-Smith. We needed to be more consistent, because when you saw them playing with the Wings, Brittany Grunner and Diana Taurasi, who was not 100%, were performing so well, but we were still missing Skylar Diggins-Smith. I need to see more from her, right? And I think once she gets her rhythm, and she shoots, because when she's on, right? So I don't know what's going on for me. And Minnesota, I don't know, if Sylvia Fowles come back, then we'll probably see like something great. But I don't know on this one. I really, really, really don't know.
You gotta pick one.
Shucks, man. If Sylvia's well, oh, this is a hard one. Can you come back to me?
Okay, Lee. Is it easier for you, Lee?
I would say Phoenix. I'm a little bit concerned about the back-to-back, because they face Los Angeles Sparks tomorrow, and then it's literally Mercury after that. So wear and tear can happen, guys. It's a thing. But I am going to bet on them just because more offensive power on their end. You know what? I'm not as disappointed in Skylar as Nthabiseng is. I think it's just growing pains. She's still trying to figure out her place in it. But while she does do a good, like she's good on hustle. She reminds me a lot like of Westbrook. Like I'm constantly attacking you. She's not a defensive player per se, but like she makes those hustle plays and those hustle steals, and those matter. Some of them don't actually make it into the stats sheet because some end up being loose deflections rather than an actual steal. But Mama is trying. There is an effort there. It's not like she's dragging herself onto the court and like, oh my gosh, I have to play again today. Like she's trying. And I think it's just going to be a matter of time before they figure out how to put her in on the offensive end. But defensively, she's finding her way. So, yeah.
I think, to quote Yoda, one must not try, you must do. You know, and I think this is also one of the major issues here. Oh, you know, a little over 20 something, but okay, 30 something. Okay, we'll move on. My pick though is I think I'm gonna go with the Mercury in this one actually, and I think mainly because, you know, Diana Taurasi, there's just something about her, the way she can, when she's hot, she's just extremely hot, and I think she's the kind of player who can really take a game over. I like the Lynx, I like Nafisa Collier, but I think that Taurasi, that Mercury team, this might be the time they start climbing. Do you finally have a decision for us in Nthabiseng?
You guys have made good points to convince me with the Mercury, because again, I'm thinking about the Wings game and how smart Diana Taurasi was playing, even with the 25 minutes that she was limited to. She completely, at times, took out Alicia Gray, standing so far away from the three-point line that Alicia was not even part of the game. And that proved to be... Okay, so let me just say, Mercury.
Okay, cool.
Can we all just take a moment to appreciate that she's like 36? We talk about LeBron being
incredible.
35.
It's
Mama
incredible.
is 36. And she does not look like she's missing a step. Whereas at least with LeBron, we can kind of see that, okay, Papa, you can see he's getting a little slow now. Taurasi's not missing a step. Put some respect on her name. Mama Taurasi.
No,
yay.
we definitely should. Our next game on Saturday night, and it's prime time for us here in Africa, Seattle Storm versus Las Vegas Aces, number 1 and 2 seeds currently. That is one of the best games. And this is also why we asked the question, who can stop the Storm? Nthabiseng. I think let's start with you, because I know you like to make these quick decisions, right?
Yeah. These are my two favorite teams in the league right now. So you're making me choose between the two. But you know what? We only have Sugar Rogers as the three-point shooter in Vegas. We have Asia Wilson with a mid-range shooting. She's stepping further and further away, but we still, like to Lee's point, we still need more shooters in that team. I think the inside game will not always win you games. And with the Seattle Storm, you have an inside game and you have an outside game. So I think I'll go with Seattle on this one. But I really do, but I'll go with Seattle. Nice.
Lee.
So why me? Instinct says Seattle. But they could lose some steam because I mean at some point the streak is going to end.
Yeah.
And it could be with the Las Vegas Aces.
Yeah.
I'll stick Seattle. I'm not gonna complicate this too much.
I like that. Kaunda, are you also going Storm?
No, Lee was on my street. Then she decided to make a short left, but I'm sitting on my street.
Aces for you.
I think Lee put it perfectly. Every streak snaps, and I think this is the streak snapper. I'm going Viva Las Vegas once again. I think the Las Vegas Aces are the ones that are gonna snap the Seattle Storm streak. They're motivated. They're doing well.
Too, though.
I know, but it's heading in the direction of the Storm. One of them has to stop the other, and I am going Las Vegas Aces because I think they've built up a bit of confidence here that will maybe allow them to shock the Storm. Plus, I only want to be different because everybody seems to be on the Seattle train.
Yeah. Well, look, I'm not going to disappoint the ladies here. Kaunda, you're on your own. This is a Seattle Storm win for me. And when I look at it, I look at the matchups. And I don't see too many matchups in this game where Vegas really outdo Seattle player for player. And I think especially in the key positions here where you're going to actually have a big battle between Asia Wilson and Brianna Stewart, it's got to be Stewie all the way in that kind of battle. The only thing that might be a bit of a difference is what happens with Angel and how she plays compared to the Storm options. But haven't spoken
about Joelle. It depends which Joelle shows up.
Jewel Lloyd. But remember, you still have Sue Bird, and as much as we talked about a veteran in Diana Taurasi, Sue Bird has been phenomenal as well this season, and she's showed up when the team has needed her. And I love Sue Bird. I think she's one of the most underrated stars, only because she doesn't have that. She doesn't come with the same menace as a DT does, where she's got that Mamba mentality, so to speak. Sue Bird is just smiling and she's killing you as she does it, and I think that's just an incredible way to do it as a leader. So I'm going Seattle Storm in that one. The last game we'll talk about happens midnight Sunday, well, let's call it early hours of Monday morning, and that'll be the Dallas Wings taking on the Los Angeles Sparks. I'm going to start on this one because my favorite player in the WNBA right now that isn't playing in Seattle and that isn't necessarily playing at the Chicago Sky is Arike Ogunbowale. I think Arike is one of those who, you talked about the sophomore syndrome. She hasn't. She doesn't even know what that is. In fact, if anything, her streak is pretty much the D'Angelo streak. When you go from brown sugar to voodoo, this is what you get. You know? So I think
that's a good comparison.
No, brother. We're sticking to legends here. And I think that Arike Ogunbowale is going to be one of those players who is going to transform the future of the Dallas Wings in years to come. Her, Satu Sabali will become the cornerstones of that franchise. But against the Sparks, we're going to see Arike going up against like a Chelsea Gray, and I mean that's like two really hardcore people just clashing. I just love that matchup. So I'm looking forward to that game. I think the Sparks will win it anyway, but it'll be great to see how Arike does. I want to see more from Satu Sabali. Nthabiseng, what are your thoughts on that game?
I very much hope they start Marina Mabry again because she's, confidence is there. She reminds me of a coach that I played for in South Africa, where I'm like, you don't trust certain players, but these players can really perform. And I think Marina Mabry has really been that player. The performance that she had against the Mercury was really great. And she's playing with her alma mater, Fam Bam, which is Arike Ogunbowale, right?
Yeah.
And so I think those girls, they're young, they're agile, and they will run you out the court. But as much as they will probably perform as well as maybe even better than they did with the Phoenix Mercury, I think not Las Vegas. I think
Los
LA
Angeles,
Sparks, they just have great players, and they have I'm losing my train of thought here, but I think I'm gonna go with the Sparks.
And I know why you're going Sparks. Nneka Ogwumike, the legend that is, and I think that she's just so impressive. We should probably just do an entire episode specifically on Nneka Ogwumike, maybe next week. So you're going Sparks. Lethabo, in this matchup, Wing Sparks, who you got?
No, I'm going Sparks. I think defensively, they're going to figure out a way to shut down Arike. No, not completely shut her down, but like limit her, I think that's what's going to happen. I think if they really could shoot, it would be a different story, but like they really are a bit anemic as well on the offensive end. So it doesn't help that they're coming up against such a strong defensive team. Like, it would be one thing if, at least they could generate offense on the free throw, because we know that Los Angeles likes to foul a lot. But they can't even do that. Like, I think even their free throws, the amount of free throws that they take are very little. So if it was different in that case, I'd hedge my bets and be like, I'd throw the wild card. But there's nothing in the Dallas Wings that gives me confidence that they can outsmart the Sparks.
Okay, cool. So Sparks for you, obviously. Kaunda wearing an LA top, the purple and gold. It seems to be the color. I'm assuming that's where you're going.
I'm not even gonna say anything. My clothes speak for themselves.
Well, there we go, Kaunda. We're
in the Sunshine State. We're in California.
Wow,
never rains.
I love that. In Cali. Thank you so much, everybody. It's been another great episode. It's been an awesome week, and I can't wait for the rest of the WNBA games. So thank you, Kaunda. Thank you, Nthabiseng. Thank you, Lethabo. And we'll see you all again next week in WNBA Courtside. Make sure you tune in, like the video, subscribe, and keep watching the WNBA.